Hello, my name is Kathy Nelson, and I am excited to show you the website that I've created for a fictitious nonprofit organization called The Least Among Us. I wanted to go ahead and show you my mock-up first so that you could kind of get a bird's eye view of what this web page looks like. So on the left, we have the desktop view, and on the right, we have the mobile view. So moving into the website, we'll go up to the top. The main purpose of my website was to appeal to the target audience's emotions to ultimately encourage them to act on their desire to help those that are less fortunate than they are. I included information within each section that would hopefully answer all of their questions so that they would feel confident in donating to the cause. Some of the ways that I accomplished these goals were that I worked to choose relevant images that would speak to their heart. I wanted them to feel moved when they looked at the images. My hope was that the feelings stirred up inside of them would ultimately encourage them to click the button that's at the bottom of the web page because they could envision who they would be helping. This button right down here. It's for this reason that I used several images to build that story. I also chose colors that would be appealing to the target audience so they would feel quickly drawn into the website and want to read more. And then lastly, I know that rounded corners invoke feelings of friendliness, optimism, or even a sense of protectiveness. And so I wanted to make sure that I used a font that had rounded corners, and then within the design itself, there were no sharp corners. For my main design, I wanted to make sure that each section was clearly defined, and you can see that each section has alternating colors, and that was done intentionally. I also used coordinating color blocks to combine each section and image together. I did want to address one design decision that I made that you may have noticed looked different from the rest, and that is in this About Us section. That color block is behind the heading, whereas in other sections and headings, it's just the white background. The reason why I did this is because I felt like the introduction and the About Us section were meant to be together. And so to preserve their cohesiveness, I placed the color blocks of the introduction and About Us behind the introductory gallery images to make them feel like one unit. I wanted the target audience's eye to be drawn to the button at the bottom of the page. And so with this color block in particular under the How Can You Help section, I made that color block go right down to the button, hopefully guiding their eye down to those questions, and then ultimately again to go ahead and click the button. And then lastly, I used the most contrasting colors of my color palette for my call to action button so that it would stand out amongst the other information, willing the target audience to act. In working on this project, I learned that when I feel stuck on something that I'm not able to figure out, it's super helpful to walk away for a time and then come back to it with fresh eyes. I was able to solve many questions or issues that I had by doing this. And the most difficult part of making the website was, for me, overcoming the feelings of overwhelm and then remembering to take tiny steps in accomplishing the final goal rather than looking at it as a whole. There are a lot of rules that must be followed when writing CSS, but when I focus on the next small task, it feels a whole lot more doable. Thank you.